Okay, I think we're live, everybody. Send me a post or a chat, whatever, if you can see us. I think it's all working right now. Be fun if the third time we go into it today I can't figure it out. Also, look, it's an Edgar.
Hello,
That
everyone.
direction?
Down here. Hi, everyone. How are we?
Good morning, internet. Let's build. Yes, exactly. Exactly. And I am on top of my game. I did post the notes in advance this time. I actually remembered to do that. We'll give everyone a kind of a catch up. Hello, Ireland. A catch up on what's going on, what I'm going to be working on, and then what Edgar's going to be working on. And you all should tell us what you're working on. Let's see. We have a comment from Aaron. Something for Edgar. I noticed that on your website's Cope climate map, there's still those semi-arid regions in Degra you erased in the rivers video.
No, is there? Oh,
The chat is
no.
here to harass us both.
Oh, no. Okay, I'm frantically looking right now. Who was that? Aaron, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, I,
Someone's like,
re-
ouch.
I really hope you're wrong, but I probably aren't. Let's be real. Uh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
Around for one more hour, then off to bed. Yes, I think for some parts of the world, we're starting to get into those late hours, whereas it's only 2 p.m. where I am right now, so my kids are napping. Okay,
Okay.
I think that's all up. So to give everyone an update, we are doing the Mapathon all weekend. I'm doing the every 3 hours. I'm starting the stream that are going for variable lengths. This one is probably going to go the full 3 hours. And then immediately after this one, we'll probably start the one that Ross is chiming in for, who I think his plan right now is to talk about city defenses. So I'm going to try to leave as much of that part vague so that I can kind of flesh that out a little bit more when he's on the stream later. So we're going to try and avoid too many defenses, city, military, all that kind of stuff. We're going to kind of hold off on. But I was working on starting to flesh out some of the bits in here. So we have my city map, we have our layers, we have rough contour lines of elevation, which was a struggle to get to. We made a rough key, that Ross will only be slightly sad about. We'll make it better later for the road sizes and all the locations. And, we're going to keep working on fleshing this out. And that's kind of what we are working on. Let me scroll down here. Frantically coining words for neography? Neography. I have no idea what that is. You should tell me what that is because I don't know what that is.
Hello, Tabby.
Yes. Lots of hellos. What an amazing collaboration. I think so.
Oh, thanks, guys. Who was that? Osof. Osof.
Full 3 hours of Edgar.
No one wants a full 3 hours of Edgar, lads. Let's be real.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me switch over to your screen. We can't show both of them at once. I can't figure out how to do it on StreamYard. We'll tie this into like all the things I can't figure out how to do in Photoshop. Maybe there's a way how to do it, but we're mostly going to be switching back and forth. So I might try and switch it back every now and then, but then if you're like, show us what you're doing, show us what Edgar's doing, just yell at us in the chat and, we'll comply. But
yeah, we're all here really for Madeline, so let's just keep it 90% Madeline here. We really don't need to see me muddle my way through what I'm attempting to do. Anyhow, so what I'm going to be doing is the next video that's coming up on my channel is rocks, mapping rocks using Madeline's method. That's this person up here, everyone. So I'm going to be basically I'm going to be reading Madeline's method and implementing it, beginning to implement it on the world, because I like to do like 90% of the world off camera, just to reduce the amount of recording time and only focus on a small area on the actual video. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I gotta say, you might need to close your ears for this, Madeline. I hate rocks with an unending passion. This is like, of all the videos I've made, this is the one I really don't want to make. And the only reason I'm doing it is because it's a prerequisite for ores, which I do care about. I don't give a crap about the hard things that are various shades of neutral color or beige. I don't care at all. So I'm going to be just muddling my way through this. So that's what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh, that's at least you didn't say you hate like glaciation. That would I don't know if I'd recover from that. But
No, but
rocks.
I did forget to like completely like to include fjords. There are no fjords on this map. Like there should be. I'm still on screen. Yeah, up here, right? Like
Yeah.
all of this landscape here should be fjorded. Um,
Yeah.
and now
But
I'm
it's
just
so
like,
squishy. Like,
it
I don't
is
know. I
so
feel like it'd be
squishy.
hard to do it.
But like infinite zoom on Illustrator. Well, okay,
Mm.
I'm in Photoshop, so there's no infinite zoom. But on Illustrator, I totally would do that. And now I'm just like, I don't want to redo all my maps again. Oh no, please don't. So I'm just going to be like, it's an abstraction. It's fine. They're
Yeah.
there. They're just not marked.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, let's see. Hold on. We have some comments. Aaron is currently drawing the winds of his world in Blender using Edgar's method. Did all the Worldsmith G plates, topography, and ocean current stuff. So you're probably like 2 decades into this project, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
We have a Ross.
Oh, I don't see a Ross. Where's a Ross? Oh, there's a Ross.
There's a Ross.
I'm still getting used to this software. Hi,
He can
Ross.
tell us both all the things we're doing wrong.
Lots will go wrong.
The trifecta has arrived. Oh my gosh. Neography is the process of creating new forms of... Oh, that's right. That's right. You're working on... Yes. Okay. I should have... Yeah. Me and knowing the words for things is not really a thing that happens. But yeah, that's really cool. Syllabary, which is unique instance of writing developed in this world. Nice. That is very cool. That is very cool. One day. But it couldn't be for a writing project because, like, I don't know how I would pull that off, but that is really neat. No fords or things like deltas. Yeah, I mean, a lot of that's usually
Reasonable.
pretty small scale.
Yeah.
A lot of other forms of writing develop from this syllabary. People are saying hi to Ross. Ross is saying hi back. We're working on rivers.
It's all happening.
And we have a great warning for Ross to not look at the keys and legends. My god.
Listen, I'm going to take one for the team. I will have no key. My key is the key that's on your blog. So let Ross's ire be directed towards me. You're safe.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. Do we get moving?
Yeah, let me switch over
Okay.
here. And we'll start out over here.
I suppose chat, I was talking to Madeline just before we started. I'm going to spend a lot of the time just being quiet because I am just reading. So, yeah, if you want to hear from me say something or Madeline will cue me in, just don't be alarmed if I don't actually say anything. Mm-hmm. And also, I'm free to just get up and like leave and bathroom, things like that. I don't need to heads up. I can just
leave.
Just leave. Cool.
Yeah. Unless I could make a bathroom pass.
I like a hall pass or like
yeah.
I have to be like, teacher, can I go to the bathroom, please?
Yeah, okay. You can like raise your hand, wait for me to call on you.
Okay, let's get going.
Okay, we're gonna focus back over here. Okay, so between the last stream ending and the start of this stream, which we just finished adding in my little isolated temple area in over here, which this guy over here, if you can see this. I looked at some maps of cities within the city walls that have rivers in them. And I think I'm back to wanting to put a little river inside of the city walls. I think I'm back to doing that again. I found so many examples of it that I don't think it's going to be a problem, especially when invasion isn't necessarily the big risk. And like I found some where they literally have whole naval fleets inside of the city walls, which one, I now regret not putting this on the coast and having a naval fleet inside of my city wall because that's awesome. But I think we are going to put some rivers in the city because I think it just makes sense from a runoff perspective and also like maybe not necessarily a sewage perspective, but like this is a very tropical city. So there's going to be a lot of rain runoff and there's going to have to be a lot of water exiting the city, especially because, there's going to be a lot of, I guess, non-permeable ground, I would think. So there's going to need to be a way to handle all that runoff and all that kind of stuff. So I think we're going to go back and we're going to start there with adding some more little river bits in here. Rivers going through the walls is useful so you don't have to walk outside to get your running water. Yeah. I think that'll be helpful. And we'll get that going. So let's see. Oh no. I've already messed this up. Oh no. Why is
Good start.
my little panel? I'm so bad with Photoshop features. They've been trying to help show me how to do things like select all the objects in like one thing and make them like aligned. I couldn't figure it out, but it's gonna be okay.
You'll get it over time. It'll be grand.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be fine. Okay, so we are on the rivers layer, which we have labeled not only just so that Ross doesn't cry. That's not the only reason we're labeling them. We've also already messed them up multiple times. So I think yeah. So I know that we talked about that before with the rivers creating weak points and the designs trying to keep them outside. Like, I think that's definitely valid, but like there's definitely lots of ways to do it. And I think they're going to have a way to do it because there's going to be so much water exiting the city, especially because it's on that little bit of a high point. So like they're going to have paths for water in and out of the city. They're going to have sewage paths. Like they're going to have figured all of that stuff out. So I think it's all going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine.
Keep calm and map.
Yeah. What about watermills? That's a good thing. We should have watermills. I think that'll just go in general production stuff along the rivers, which probably will actually mostly, what I would guess, end up being in this region over here. I imagine this around this river is going to be a pretty big place for that production that's really intensive, that is really close to the city, but isn't necessarily within the city walls. So I think we're going to have probably a lot of like, maybe not terraced rice farms because it's a little bit too flat for that. But a little bit of that sort of a vibe. Paris has the sign in the middle of it. Sign.
Same.
I can't pronounce French things. I don't know.
Or if French, it's probably just like "se."
Yeah,
who
probably.
cares about all those extra letters? But I think it is pronounced "sane."
Sane. Okay. Yeah. So there's that one. The Aztecs and Cambodians have historically had some amazing tropical or tropical-ish water management systems. Yes. I should pull up some of those maps. Let me see if I can find, where's the map I was looking at that has like a full-on fleet in the middle of it, because that's my new favorite map. Oh, this guy. Okay. Let me post this in the chat. So if you click on that, it's Alkmaar 1597. Dutch city of Alkmaar is portrayed in minute detail. It's very cool. You should check it out. Simply run through as well. Yeah, okay. That's fair. Okay. Yes. So we're back to adding a river. Because I think it needs to happen. It just, for the vibes, I think it's important. So we're going to make it relatively small. Probably about the size, a little bit smaller than our minor roads here. So we'll probably have, let's see. There's no way they're going to have rivers coming from above or higher elevations into the palace complex because that's the highest point. So a lot of the ones I've looked at where they are surrounded by mountains as like protection, they then have the rivers coming into like the palace center and then like running out through there. Because ideally you'd probably want the water, if you're having water flow through like rich people areas, they're not going to want like smelly, dirtied waters already because they're rich people and they don't do that. So I'm not thinking that these waters will go through like, because we were talking about doing the slums up over here. That was an option. We probably would not have water going through the slums and then going into richer areas. Like I think they would have diverted that or done something different, or that would end up being like a sewage path out of the city. So I think we'll have to look at that. Let's see. Yes, I'm using Photoshop very badly. I'm using Photoshop badly. That's the key here. But we do have this radial center there in our right here, which we're thinking used to be the sort of like village center in the pre-city before this. So I think that maybe we keep slums away from this area because it will have like nice fresh water features. And we have some water coming in here. And it could probably go in multiple directions if we're being honest. Because it's probably something they'd want to an extent. So let's think. Don't think we'll... Slums on the east side, not the west. Yeah, that might be what we want to do, but the problem is this main road here. Wow, you can't see that. Okay. This road right here is going to be our main thoroughfare into the city for bringing in goods. And this is something that we pulled from the article, what is it called again? A collection of unmitigated pedantry. He has 2 articles, Brett does, on the ideal city and how that works in terms of like zones and like transportation going in and out of the city and being able to improve that for like the bureaucracy and the taxing and the flow of goods and all that. So most of those roads going in is going to be like you're going to have your higher end areas, your higher end markets for the wealthier parts of the city and stuff. So like I don't think we'd actually have slums there. We may just have to push the slums straight out of the city, honestly, because or out of the city walls, not out of the city. Because this pink line that goes all the way around here, that pink line is roughly what we're thinking as the edges of the actual city, because it has flown out of the city walls, and because they don't have that big of a risk, they're not worried about expanding the city walls to fill the rest of the people. Unless Ross tells us that's really dumb when he's on here. But that's the vibe. It's in the article as an option of things that happen. So I think we can go with that. Some developed outside the walls while things in the inner wall were later renovated under a more official plan. Yeah, I think that's kind of the vibe we're going to want to go for. We're agreeing with outside the city walls. If the city is on a high point, having a river inside should be manageable because moving upstream with pre-industrial tech would be complicated. Yeah, well, so not necessarily. So there's actually a lot of civilizations that like used their streams and rivers going in both directions. So like they might just have like for this culture we might have a water buffalo and you have like leads tied to it to like a little boat that's pulled up, or you could have series of like, what are those, like they're not like interlocking channels, but like to bring boats up. Like they had those in certain places in the world pretty early on. And for the time period here, I think they would absolutely have a lot of river traveling technologies, especially given how flat this terrain is. Like we figured it out. It's like over the course of like 3 miles, it only goes up like 120, 150 feet. So like it's not steep. This is going to be a gentle river. Like you could probably row up it or get pulled up it like really, really easily. Levees and locks. Yeah. Those are words that we should be using here. But yeah, so I think that they could go up the river fairly easily if they wanted to. But we could also keep these relatively small. I don't know if they would necessarily be like canals or just like for access to drinking water, for access to runoff in general, just handling runoff. But I think, where did I draw my lines? This area is reminding me of rural Vietnam and the Philippines. Yes, I'm using Vietnam, northern Vietnam specifically, as a big inspiration for my climate and my biomes here. I've been reading a lot of like, what's it called? Like botany expeditions into Vietnam and stuff like that because I'm a nerd. And we've got you covered on vocabulary. Good, because I don't know what anything's called at all. Okay. So let's actually move this in here. And I'm actually going to have 2 entry points for this, because we want to go around this higher elevation point there, sort of move along this main road here. Let's see. think we'll do something like that. Because it would be like this river or canal or whatever coming through here would be incredibly like artificially directed. So we'll do that. I was going to mention oxen or the like pulling boats upstream goes back very deep into antiquity, so water buffalo works in a pinch. Exactly. And we do have horses too, but I feel like they'd be more likely to use water buffalo. There's a bunch of interesting microclimates in the highlands of Vietnam. Yes. Yes, there are. They are very cool. And I'm going to be doing more research into that eventually, hopefully, as I have the time. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to tie that back in there. And there. And yes, I know you really shouldn't have branching like water like this, but it's their canals. I think it's fine. They can make that work. So let's actually make this like a little lake, like a little artificial lake in there, because I think that'd be cool. And a little one there. And if we actually, I think what we can probably do is pull this into the bureaucratic center a little bit. Probably along this road here. Would the reservoir have multiple exits? I don't know if it's like a reservoir. If you're talking about this little lake here, I feel like based off levels, they could make it so that water flows out of both of those. According to some of the maps I've been looking at, I think that is definitely doable. Especially, yeah, based off some of the maps I'm looking at, it looks like if it's something very artificial, it might work, but let's see. What other domestic animals would there be that aren't water buffalo or oxen? Like in general or in this specific, like on this island? Gut instinct is telling me that connecting artificial lakes to the canal system is a bad idea because they don't have drainage. They might accumulate sewage and become health hazards or just smell. That's a good point. So then I guess it would depend on city management of whether these are mainly for the purpose of like handling runoff, if this is going to be separate from the sewage system, if this is going to be more like for looks, and also like to an extent having yucky water wouldn't be super un-city like, but if they were using this also for like drinking water in certain points and for runoff water, I think they'd probably try and keep this separate from the sewage systems. So you'd still have some like runoff water would go into it, but in certain parts of the city, you'll be able to get better water. So I think that's fine, maybe. Ross is saying what you could do is connect your canals back to the river downstream. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Like have them all like where they still filter out and so you don't have water gathering too much. And I think that'll work. On this island. So my main domesticated like original beasts of burden on this island are a special type of horses and then water buffalo. There's other domesticated animals, but they aren't like beasts of burden. But there's going to be some form of like fowls, maybe like what do they call them? Like the jungle chickens or whatever they're called, the jungle fowl, which I think chickens originated from. I'd have to look that up, but like all the general stuff that's like pretty common they'd have, but they're not going to have like cows or sheep or anything like that here. Would there be aquatic animal husbandry? I don't think so. It hasn't occurred to me as a thing. Waterfowl, guinea fowl, yeah. Jungle fowl, something like that. It's a thing. Chickens are red jungle fowl. There we go. Yep. Jungle fowl. Okay. I'm keeping this open as a place to retire. Okay. All right. I'm going to just play around with my canals for a bit. Do you want to give everyone an update on what you're doing, Edgar?
Yeah, if you want to switch over to me. It's not going to be much of an update, but it's an update nonetheless. So what I got going here is, so I'm, again, following Madeline's method. I'm looking at igneous rocks. I do not need to map large igneous provinces because we did all the G-plates, or Worldbuilding Pasta did the G-plate stuff. So I have all of the large igneous provinces already in situ. They would be these yellow bios here. Per Madeline, it's so strange. Like I say this in my videos, but you're actually here now. So per Madeline, it's very strange. Per Madeline, most of these are basaltic. So that's what, if I just bump up the fill here, that's what all of this crack is, all this dark color here. Who needs a key, right? And now, what I'm doing is I'm going through and I'm putting in these sort of purpley areas, just kind of pseudo randomly, and putting in bits of andesitic rock in the middle of them, and that is essentially it. Yeah, and I guarantee it. That's going to be me for about 2 hours. Just this will take about 2 hours to do, and then I'm going to try and put in some rhyolitic rock in other places, and hopefully it'll look okay. That's the plan. That's me. Are you going to keep it on me? Or are you going to watch me draw funny shapes?
I'm at least going to keep it up for a minute because like there's arrows and I'm confused now.
Oh, sorry. Oh, these arrows are hotspots. They were hotspots. So that's all in the sort of base map layer, so I can figure out what's going on. But yeah, that's the basic shtick. And these are not final shapes at all. Like if we compare to a shout out as well, Madeline, you for directing us all towards this site here.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's really cool. But per this site, you'll see that like a bunch of the large igneous provinces, we'll say this chap here, it's not like a homogeneous basaltic blob. There's like, little enclaves here and there and all that sort of jazz. So very early stages of making this thing work. And also I suspect, and maybe Madeline, you could answer this, or chat, I suspect, like, for example, this chap here, this is a large igneous province here, but the topography is between 0 and 200 meters, so really low, like really low lying topography, because it's a super old large igneous province. I suspect it has been ground down and probably covered with a layer of sediment / maybe sedimentary rock or something, so maybe it would be wrong to even put it in as a big slab of basaltic stuff.
Would it have been covered? So is that like, because I know you have that one bay there. Is that like a shield region? Like, did that have in the last like ice age? Like, was that just a giant like receded ice sheet or?
Yeah, actually, I did not. I did not. I thought about my ice sheet on this continent here purely because there's already ice there. I did not think if ice came down. I mean, in theory, ice could come down here, but I have not worked it out. You know.
Yeah. I feel like that would have the biggest impact on it, like whether or not that would have scraped away the sediment. Because I know in a lot of the areas
Right.
in the map of the site you were referencing, a lot of the shield regions have a lot of like scraped away stuff. Like if you go up into like Canada, you mostly get a lot of that scraped away like metamorphic, but there's still a little bit of bits of igneous, but like most of it's been really scraped down and stuff.
That is, that is probably safe to assume. Oh, now I want to go ahead and calculate how far down the ice sheets. I'm not doing. I can't do it. Every step represents hours and hours and hours of rabbit holes. So I'm just going to leave that. In any case, I wanted to leave this content for the video, so this is all trivial at this stage. I'm going to bop around the map to all these other things, and we'll see from there. Cool. All right, so that's basically what I'm doing. So I'm just gonna continue moseying. I do not have any rivers.
People are a fan of the site that we mentioned, and also the rock map in general.
Very good.
Someone really likes the Highland Hotspot region in Esri. Same with the Himalayan Plateau.
Very good. That Himalayan Plateau is bonkers. Like it's a Himalayan plateau that's thousands of kilometers wide.
Yeah.
Crazy. Right. I need to get myself some rivers.
Yes. And everything going crazy is indeed the world builder's curse that we are all very much cursed with.
Yeah. Yup.
Right.
Everything must take years.
Okay, I'll let you work on that and we'll pull this back up real quick. Okay. So I put the rest of the little canals in here, which I think will help us work the rest of the city around that. I have not yet pulled anything in from the northern river. I feel like it makes the most sense to not try and do anything weird there. So we're going to leave it like this. But we are at the point now where I think we can fill in real quick some of the buildings. Is that working size 6 maybe? Some of the buildings in here to just kind of flesh this out a little bit. It's going to be kind of vague, but this, I guess, what were we calling this? Let me pull this up over here. Our administrative center is kind of what we're focusing on.
Sorry, point of order. I love the way you say vague. It's great. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm not one of those people who are kind of like, you're saying it wrong. I just love hearing that variation. Can you say flag for me?
Flag?
Oh, you say, okay, interesting.
How do other people say it?
Well, I see now. Okay, my knowledge of where exactly American accents exist is pretty poor, so I'm going to say some dumb things now. But some people in the US, I think around the Great Lakes, possibly, I don't know, say flag.
Oh, yeah. The Midwestern kind of. My husband's family is from out in Ohio, and the way they say some things, I make fun of them.
But the way you say vague kind of is reminiscent of how flag goes. I totally appreciate they're not the same vowels, but it just triggered that in my head. I'm assuming you don't say leg as in leg.
No, leg.
No, leg. What again?
Leg.
Leg. Okay, it's a slightly different vowel than the one I have. But that's just cool. I just love the variety. It's awesome.
There's a lot of weird stuff out here. A lot of differences.
Yeah, I know, right? It's great, though. I love it. Again, like, I can't stand when people, if I may just get on a soapbox here, I can't stand when people in earnest are kind of like, why are you saying it like that? It's kind of, no, linguistic diversity is amazing, and I just love hearing it. Like, it's just great.
Yeah.
Anyhow, I'll leave you to it.
So I've heard flag and also beg for back, beg.
Yeah, beg.
Very common in Canada, too, apparently. What is it that they say for garages? Like, I say garage, but garage. I think some people say like garage. I can't even do it.
Yeah, garage.
Garage.
Yeah, we don't. Garage. I would never say garage. That's too French right there for me.
I don't even know. Crook and creek. Yeah. They got some fun words from stuff. I really love how people, like the streamers, put out their WB processes, world building processes. You might find something to extend with it, but it helps so much that others have tried to make sense of the same things. Yeah, like honestly, we're all figuring this out together. Like, I feel like when we put out like really tight videos that are like, oh yeah, we did all this stuff and figured out these processes, that's really just like us spending hours and hours and hours trying to figure things out and struggling and building off of what other people are doing and talking to other people that are doing it. Like, we don't know what we're doing any more than anyone else does, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
none of us are experts in the things. Well, few of us are experts in all the things we talk about.
yes.
Which is fun because it's just a hobby. It's nothing serious. It's not like we're writing papers.
Mm.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So I put a link in the chat earlier on, which is sort of my city planning notes that I've been working through, which is kind of the process we're working through right now. So we're going through our centers. And again, this comes from the article from Brett in his collection of Unmitigated Pedantry, which is linked in this my notes page too in the resources section. But we're kind of going through our administrative centers because they're sort of based off each other. So we're going to kind of branch out through those and then branch out the other sections here in the city. But oh no, wait, did I? Okay, good. I didn't mess anything up already. I thought I was on the wrong layer. Okay, so we're going to admin center buildings because in this central area, we have our administrative center, which is sort of the red, and the orange mainly is going to be, yeah, basically our political authorities, the buildings that like the bureaucrats are going to reside in and work in, and all of that kind of stuff. There's going to be lots of offices, yada, yada, yada. So I'm just going to fill in a general, oh no, that's the wrong color. There we go. I'm just going to fill in some like general buildings in here. Why does that look gray? Hold on a second. Oh, there. That's... Oh, no. Oh, no. Close tap group? Okay, I think I fixed it now. I did something and I don't know what. There's a weird symbol there. That little, like, lock symbol. I don't know what that means. Hopefully nothing's wrong. Because I'm just going to ignore it and keep going.
The lock symbol in your layers panel.
Well, it's not the lock symbol. It's like an unfilled in lock symbol.
Oh, that is... Hold on. Let me just test something. Yeah, it means that it's a sub-layer of a locked layer.
Oh.
At least that is a manifestation because I have them on my layers panel here.
Oh, no.
Can you get rid of my face? Can you move my face somewhere to the left or something and so I can see your layers?
Yeah, let's relocate your face. There. Your face is now moved.
Oh, snap. Yeah, that is the same. Wait, what? Oh, no, it's not the same symbol. Yeah, I have no idea. You're on your own there, Madeline.
All right. Well, if anyone in chat knows what that means, you let me know. Yeah, so using jungle fowl for like the chicken fighting and stuff like that, I've seen that's really common in those cultures over there from what I've my brief exposure, of course, but I've definitely seen a lot of that. Oh no, everyone was worried for a minute that I was just completely getting rid of Edgar. They're like, no, don't worry, we're just moving him.
Well, if I had been gotten rid of it, would have been the aesthetic of the stream would have went up something serious. Let's be real.
I mean, I feel like it's a nice neutral palette, like, you know.
What I got going on here, or you just mean my white ass face, my ghost.
Well, I mean,
face.
you got neutral background, the black clothing, you know, it's very neutral, you know.
Fun fact: I own nothing but black clothing. Yeah, it makes buying clothes so much easier. I show up and go, give me the black one, and that's it.
That probably does help. Let's do... My biggest struggle right now is I keep struggling on which things to kind of make complexes and which things to make individual buildings. I'm kind of trying to do a mix here, but it's not exact. This is just a rough idea. Oh no. The icon is a background layer and has to be turned to a foreground layer before it can be unlocked. But I'm writing on it right now, I think, right? Yes? Okay, let's hover it. Double click and select. Hold on. I don't think I have that option. It looks the same. Oh, I figured it out. These little arrows apparently do that.
Huh.
It's partially locked, yeah. So I think it's just because I had it selected, maybe?
Lock.
I don't know.
I've never used lock position before.
I don't know.
Wow.
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's... This is very much just the vibes. To get us an idea there. Yeah. And then I think I'm going to mostly just leave this section as is. Because I can go back in and just add more little squares of nonsense later. Let's fill that in. And then we need the color for like public. Oh, come on. Oh no, don't be sad. Come on, Photoshop. There we go. Okay. Do I have a color for this? I do not have a special color for like public spaces. So I think we'll just use the yellow color, which is like noble / favored complexes, just because it gives an idea that these are spaces meant for the rich and powerful, but not where work is actually being done. And we'll just do that for now. But let's go back over here. And so once, if we go through the list, the thing after administrative center is the defense / military center, which is typically near the administrative center. We have some of those buildings already. Those are that light blue color. And so there's a complex here, which is going to be our defense center. And then there's one on the other entrance or the other exit. But I think we will want to add a few more of these in a little bit. Oh, no problem at all. Thank you for stopping by. And I do have a name for this city. The name of this city is Saunadavka. So SAUN space A space DAVKA is the name of the capital city. Which if people want me to, I can pull up my page and try and remember what that stands for in my conlang. But Saunadavka is the city of Zeranim, I think is the name of the whole island. But yes, okay, so we want defense military centers, and then we want market centers, which is buyers and sellers. And those are going to be our big markets. So like here, which I will probably just like, actually, what I'm going to do to indicate the market is just kind of put a little bit of a grid here, which we will fill in, which just kind of shows that there's like, it's a big market of some form. Probably some combination of permanent buildings and like, you know, tents and other pop-up facilities. And then probably because it's a market, I feel like we'll probably have... Oh, why is this being so... Okay, there we go. It's getting angry at me. Actually, hold on. Let me close all these other maps I have open right now. Do I want to save this?
The answer is always yes.
Oh, yeah, we'll save it. I did that on a different layer. Sure. Okay. Then Let's save this guy. Yes. So now we have a key. Yep. I did this on a separate layer. Yes, I did. Ignore the fact that there's no elevation key. It's fine.
Green is low, brown is high. That's all you need to know.
It's fine. You can tell which ones are higher than the others.
Exactly.
Good. Oh my gosh. Definitely save. Don't forget the brothels. Oh, so the way we're grouping this, which will tie in anything in the, entertainment category or whatever, is we're sort of, other than the main buildings, so like administrative, religious, defense, schools, we're kind of grouping things based off like class or wealth. So there's going to be a wealthy / merchant area, and this will include shops. This will include the residential buildings. It'll include like services and things for those people, right? So it's not just all residences, it's just that area. And then, stepping down in classes too, because there's going to be a lot of areas that are combined residential and merchant, and like that's getting into the level of granularity that we don't need to have. So it's going to kind of just be like, these are general sectors of different wealth levels is going to be the idea here. What is your favorite Köppen climate zone? I think I currently live in CFA. I think. I hate it. I hate the heat. Any climate zone that never gets over 80 degrees and is as dreary and rainy as possible is my favorite climate zone.
Wait, what 80 Fahrenheit in real units is? That never gets over 26 degrees. Never, is that what you said? Never.
Ideally, like maybe like once a year, like I can just hide inside.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know about the dreary and rainy part, but essentially, I think you want to live in the Greater City Isles.
Yeah,
that's the idea.
I do love it. I do love it. The rain. I love rain. I hate the sun, and like the heat and like beaches. Ugh.
Yeah,
I hate it.
The heat, like oppressive heat is awful. We were in. I don't know if everyone knows it, but I just went on my honeymoon to Peru, and we were in like the Peruvian desert before going up into the Andes. And like, oh my God, just like, okay, I'm gonna have to translate the units, but like 30, the highest we'd experienced was 38 degrees heat, which was it's just debilitating.
Yeah.
That is spot on 100. Like, I was just like, I can't even move in this. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, I've never liked the heat. I've always gotten like heat stroke really easily, but then also like I'm now in a phase of my life where apparently I just get migraines from the stupidest of things, including the heat. So if I go outside and it's like 80 degrees, I'm just like, I'm out for the count, which is great.
Getting old sucks so hard.
Yeah.
It's awful. Not to imply that you're old. That was more a reflection on me because I'm extremely old. Both numerically and in spirit.
It's a thing. I feel like I have the like body and health of like an 80-year-old is always my joke. In terms of like my joints and all that stuff, which is always fun. Washington or Oregon for Madeline. Yeah, I've looked at like Seattle, where it like rains literally all the time, but it's pretty mild.
And they have vampires.
True. I do like a good vampire, Find some fake forks, Air pressure can cause migraines. Yeah, anytime there's like a big storm system rolling in, it always gets me, especially in the spring. Because I'm on the East Coast, so you tend to have these giant waves of pressure systems that move across the country. And what happens is you get like these wild swings depending on if you're like in the trough or in the whatever they call the other side of it. And so it'll be like all of a sudden the pressure just like takes a nosedive, and then the whole like weather changes by like 40 degrees in like 2 days. And it's not great for migraines. Oh. CSB. Nice. Yeah, migraines aren't fun. I don't get like the weird normal people migraines. I get like part of my body stops working with my nervous system,
Whoa.
which is great. Like, I wish I could just like turn the lights off and like take a nap, and that would help. But yeah, the people that get like pain, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
Just cute Seamus here. Highlight can cause migraines as well. No, highlight. Jesus. Altitude. How did I see the word altitude and go to myself, highlight? How did, like, what? Anyhow, altitude. I, just to share stories from being away, I was, one of, myself and my wife are one of the few lucky ones who didn't suffer bad altitude sickness, because we got up to 5,000 meters at the highest, which is just a little shy, a hill shy of like wherever space camp lies. So like high, really high. And people were just dying. Like it was they were dropping like flies. And then for some reason, myself and my wife were like, it's great crack. Let's go higher.
It's really weird how that like affects people. Because like I have a coworker who went down and like hiked up to like Machu Picchu and all that stuff. And it's weird what people have problems like if you like space it properly, and some people just like it doesn't matter at all and they're just like fine.
Yep. Yeah, and like we had the doctor that was on the trip with us. She's constantly going on all of these high altitude hikes and stuff. Has been doing it for years and years, and she's like, there's just no telling if it's going to hit. Like, she said she had done something like 4 very, very high peaks, like Island Peak up by Everest, which is like 6,000 something. And a couple of those fellas. And then one day she did something moderate by her standards and was just floored. Absolutely floored with it. It's crazy. And like that's true taking like Diamox, like altitude sickness medication, like as a preemptively. Even taking that, they were like still floored. Crazy.
Yeah, when we went up to is this even the right thing? Am I on the right layer? Yes. Okay. When we went out to Denver, we were a little worried at first that we were going to have problems because the first day, like it starts at like a mile high is the city. And then we went up like a mile and a half the first day to do like a minor hike. And like I started having problems. Really? And then we went back down. But then the next day, like we did a hike to like 11,000 feet. And then we went up to, I think, 14,000 feet. So not quite as high as 5,000 meters, according to the what's in the chat there. But like we had no problems the second day. And there were people there that were just like struggling and had to go back down. And it's like, I don't know.
It's nuts. Like I didn't experience it personally, but one of the people who was really bad was like, I was up there. She got it at about 4.6, and she was like, I hated everyone and everything. I just wanted to murder everything around me. And then they just put her in the car and drove her just down, like just a 5-minute drive downhill, and she's fine, like totally fine. She just needed to lose about 1,000 meters, and then it was fine. And it's just crazy, just such a mad thing. And it was really, I don't know if you experienced this, but it was mad when we came back into Lima, because I had spent weeks then up in the Andes. Well, weeks up in the Andes. And then going back to sea level felt soupy. It was so weird. And the sun was less intense and the air was kind of thick. And because people had said, this is about your experience. And I was like, that's stupid. Come on. What do you mean the air is going to be soupy? But you land and you're like, oh, I'm not used to this. This is so weird. It's the strangest thing ever.
Yeah, I don't think we were up there long enough because we were sleeping in Denver. So like we came back down every night, so we didn't have that long exposure. But it was also hard because like where we would go during the day to hike was like 30, 40 degrees cooler. And then we'd come back down at night and it was like 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the city. They were going through like a heat wave. So it was like, I don't even know if I'd have been able to notice if there was weird stuff, because I was just like, it's so hot. Why don't you have more AC? You know, so it was a struggle.
What is this AC you speak of? No one over here has AC, regardless. Like we always get, I think like I would say very warm summers, but we only get it for like 2-3 days. But for those 2-3 days, life just shuts off because people are like, I can't breathe. They're like, just get a fan, buy a fan. No one does it here. We just suffer through it. And then you know what we do to alleviate the heat? We make steaming hot cups of tea because we're Irish. Like it makes no sense.
So in July, the very beginning of July, the end of June, think 2018,
Mm.
there was probably a pretty bad heat wave in Ireland as well. Does that like ring a bell?
Yeah, there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was when we went on our honeymoon to Scotland and were prepared for really, really cold weather. And then 2 days in, like a giant heat wave hit.
And it's a nightmare.
Yeah. No AC anywhere. Half the shops had closed down because they're like, we don't know what, like, we can't function. It's really hot.
Yeah,
We need to go
exactly.
buy clothes. Like, they barely, like, we could barely find a pair of shorts to buy. And it's like a bajillion degrees.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We're so ill equipped. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh,
And yet we never
aircon for
learn.
Edgar. Yeah.
We never learn. I floated the idea, and people are like, "You're actually crazy. Would you stop it?" And I'm every year, I'm basically vindicated.
Yeah. There is sense that drinking hot tea in summer and cold drinks in winter, if you're trying to adjust your inner core temperature to the outside temperatures.
Oh,
Okay, okay. I feel like that sounds, regardless of whether or not you're right, that just sounds awful to me.
but I heard it on the internet, so it must be right.
That's fair.
Uh
Uh, it's like Ireland, but with Galicia is like Ireland, but with 1 to 2 months of cool 20 to 23 Celsius summers. 20 to
Yeah,
23 Celsius.
you want a. I think what you want is you want a CFB climate that's slightly on the warm side. Um,
Mm.
I think that's probably optimal. If people don't, because I know like for me it would be a Mediterranean climate would be my ideal place to live. But some people
Mm.
find the summers just a little bit too oppressive. Like
Yeah.
like a European Mediterranean summer a little bit too oppressive. So CFB plus a little bit more warmth is probably the way to go. Um, at least in my eyes. Sorry, I
Yeah.
took us off on a massive tangent there. I'm really sorry.
No,
Um,
you are good. You are good. We're vibing. I've been doing this for so many hours already today. I'm chugging along. Um it's crazy to drink hot tea in the heat wave, but I'm one of the people who scarfs down ice cream during minus 30 degrees Celsius days. Wait, is that minus 30 degrees Celsius like really cold? I
that's
feel like I need a
that's that's incredibly cold.
2 Fahrenheit.
That's like you are quite literally in a freezer cold.
Oh,
My
minus 22. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I will say I would also eat ice cream during one of those days, but that's also just because I'm weird. I just don't like to be warm. Like I will even struggle like managing my body temperature after I drink a cup of coffee. Like that's the level of like me really not liking to be warm.
wow.
I am so sensitive to being warm, but really cold doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all.
And I guess it's an easier thing to fix,
Mhm.
than the heat.
Yeah. Glacia CSB. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it's a way better way to go than wherever it is that I live. Dallas is CFA. I don't like CFA. It's not
No,
my vibe. It's not my vibe. I know it's great for a lot of people. Like, can't do it. Can't do the heat.
I'd be on board with you there.
Yeah. I don't mind tea. I don't mind tea. I will say that if I was in the UK and I had like, apparently the kettles in the UK can heat up like water like 3 times as fast as they can here because of like your voltage is higher or something. I don't know. It takes forever here. Unless you're just weird and you like, you put your cup in the microwave, make everyone cry.
That is, I went through a good chunk of my life not knowing that fact about Americans, and since learning that, look. I'm gonna be honest. I think lesser of you. It's as simple as that. No,
That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's one of those things. When we had our Scottish au pair living with us, we actually bought a kettle just for her so that she would feel at home. And we were like, here's your kettle. So you can be
that is so sweet. Oh my god, I love that.
Oh, yeah. It was good. She barely used it, but when she used it, she really, really enjoyed it. And she also mocked us anytime we did anything else, but it's fine.
The microwave thing is
You
just
need a new kettle.
it's
No, but
crazy to
seriously,
me.
I Google it. The power, so like our voltage here is like a lot lower than your voltage in a lot of places in the UK. Or I mean, I say you, but I don't know if you're actually in the UK, but like for UK, the voltage is a lot higher. So like if you have a kettle that's rated for that, like it takes like a minute, maybe a minute and a half to heat up, whereas like the same one here would take way longer. Like you're looking at like 4 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes. It's a thing. It's a thing.
That's
There's just not as much power going through it.
I think I could
Um,
probably in that time drive to the nearest shop, make a cup of tea here, and drive back. And in the time it takes to make a single one, yeah, the US voltage is 120 volts, and the UK's voltage is 130 volts. I'm imagining our voltage would probably be the same then.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
230. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, apparently we're just special and we have low voltage for stuff. But hey, I mean like we can throw our circuits and stuff just by using like a hair dryer or a vacuum cleaner because our voltage is so low. It's a great system.
But also, what I think is kind of cool is that isn't, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, isn't one of the things you do, you full powered plugs in your bathrooms, which we don't have. Like, we don't have normal wall sockets in our bathrooms. We have these dinky things that don't work and no one actually ever uses them. But you guys just have a whole ass normal plug in there,
Yeah,
which is
they're rated
amazing.
differently. So typically like so we'll have certain plugs that are like rated for being near water.
Mhm, mhm.
Um that are a little bit more like fancy and protected and we'll have those in the bathrooms. But like we definitely do have like you will have lines in your house that are higher voltages for doing things like running your washing machine, your refrigerator, stuff like that. Like we have to have special lines put in that can handle those
Mhm.
kinds of appliances because they need more
More
power.
juice, more juice. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a weird thing. There's so many little things that like you would never realize unless like you either move somewhere like that and experience both, or like you have someone that lives there come live with you, like our au pair who points out all the weirdness in our house when she was here. Um,
Or like having garbage disposals in your sinks. I'm so sorry, chat. We're meant to be talking more. I've completely used up. Just I'll leave it at the garbage disposal in the sink. That is. I am so I literally don't even understand how that is meant to work, because I'm like, wait, if you put the food in the sink, it goes where the water goes, but you don't. But it doesn't go where the water goes. Like, it's not going into your sewage system. It's going somewhere else. And it's like, how does the thing know how to do it? It's just, it fries my brain.
I honestly I don't even know. I
It's
grew up
just,
in like a 120-year-old farmhouse. We did not have a garbage disposal. Our new one does, and I have no idea how it works.
but
I just know that you press the little switch and hope someone's hand's not in it.
but like, oh yeah, and it like, it eats it. It's like, nom, 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 nom.
Hmm.
It's just mind blowing. Mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyhow, sorry, worldbuilding.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Worldbuilding.
Josh.
I don't even remember what I was doing. Oh yeah, I was gonna build. Oh wait, no, I'm gonna wait until Ross is on and can tell me how to defend my little border things. We'll leave that one down there, and I'll just assume it's gonna be the same on the other side unless we decide against that. But I do want to add in. Um, Let me add another layer. So let me put this up. We're gonna add a few more layers here, and we are going to be organized. And this is going to be for main city buildings. I'm just going to say like city buildings or greater city buildings in the greater city area. And then greater city colors. Okay. Okay, so we're going to pull this back. So we've decided in a previous stream, if you were not here for that, that the way that tax imports is going to work on this city, because the city wall is smaller than the extent of the city, is that most of the importing and the tariffs is going to happen when they cross the rivers into this region. So I'm going to add some administrative and probably defense buildings down here because they'll have like tax officers and whatnot, probably in this region as well, uh, just to manage that. Let's see, what are we at? We're at like a 7 is fine. Just add that here. Probably add. Wow, I can't draw in a straight line now. Okay, do some of that. Some of this. Okay. That's probably good to start. Let's get the colors layer. Add our administrative color. Finish the prevailing winds for summer. Congratulations, one step further.
Oh wait, does my camera do the weird heart thing? It probably doesn't. Because some
What do you-
cameras, like if you make a heart sign, they like make hearts. I want to send that person hearts, but I
Is
can't.
that a thing?
Yeah, some cameras or some apps rather do it.
I don't think this is one of them.
No,
Because
it's sad.
doesn't. Maybe it's a setting I have to turn on. I don't know. I have not thought about currency at all. That is not. I've not gotten there yet. A chain against smugglers. I have no idea. I'm off to bed. Good luck with the map. Thank you for joining in today.
Thank you.
Good night. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. We'll see. What was I doing? Colors. Bureaucracy.
I've done something stupid. Oh, wait, okay, undo. Never mind. Okay, we're fine. Don't worry about it. It's all good, lads. Nothing happened.
Good.
I was just adding drama.
It's always good to have a little bit of drama, you know.
Uh-huh.
Okay, there we go. We're going to add some military, defensive buildings. Okay, we'll consider that pretty good. For now, at least. And then, okay, so let me go back over here to my notes. So we have defensive military center. I'm going to want more military buildings, I think, throughout the city. I don't know how. I might Google this real quick. I really need to not have, like, I don't know if you can't see my setup. I know because I can see the camera, but I have like my tablet here and my keyboard's behind it, and like in order to type, it's not the best. But
Yeah,
let's
I'm the
see.
same. I have to lunge forward.
Yeah. There we go. Let's look this up. Because I know you'd have like gatehouses, like that would be a thing. Put a barracks near each gatehouse. Yeah, there'd definitely be something like that. But let's see if I can find something about where they'd be stationed. I don't know. Oh, this is the first of these live streams I've been able to catch. I'm excited. Welcome, welcome. If you scroll up in the chat near the top, I posted a link to kind of the notes I'm working on right now. Let's see if I can find anything specific. Not seeing anything super duper useful. Ooh, civic spaces. No. Yeah, I don't know. I think that for the most part, we have the main military source of like power here, which is that little blue complex. We'll definitely have some little things around the gates in each section, just where they'll like switch out, being on patrols and entering, all of that stuff. So I have little buildings there. And then I think I'm trying to figure out if there needs to be like another major area in the city for guards of some sort. Most of the like rich, the favored family complexes will have their own little like armories and guards and stuff. So like it's not super extensive what's around here, but there'll be at least some. So we can probably place those in sort of like, this sort of a vibe. Maybe have 2 on each of these major ones. And just put those around here. because I don't know if like the jail or the like the holding cell / where they would take oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Trials, right? That sort of thing. I'm not sure if they would do that in the like bureaucratic complex, like if they bring the prisoners in there or if they would have an external place. I'm not really sure. Yeah, blacksmith, armory, stables, etc. There's going to be a lot of that stuff in the various sections for each area. So I'm not placing those individually. Those are going to be encompassed in the like the ones that are for the military will be in the military colors. The ones that are for the different classes would be in the different like class sections, because those are just going to be like sections of the city. No, there's no gunpowder. I almost exclusively do like pre-gun era type technology levels. Probably an external place for jail near the middle class. One for petty criminals, one for high-value prisoners. Yeah, I think that makes sense as something that I would do. So maybe I'll have a couple of smaller jails outside of the main Imperial area where, like, you know, there'd be like more petty criminals, lower class citizens, that sort of a thing. Let's see. Places where they can train and practice. Yeah. Okay. So let's do that. So let's put these probably in less. Let's do one like over here. One little like complex, which will be like a jail. And I'm going to mark that as like the military colors, but that's going to be like a jail kind of thing. And we'll have one probably over. Do I want it to be in the city walls or outside the city walls? I feel like there might be one like over here, because that's kind of close to the main road still, you know, but, you know, would be okay. Let's do this. Let's do. We're going to add another like small complex right here. And then we will have small ones out here as well. So let's drop the colors in for that. Oh no. Okay. Oh no. No spilling water. That's not good. Especially if you spill it on stuff. Like the imprisoned Baron McBinge who failed the timely payment of his YouTube premium subscription. The city granary might be near a market square. So the city granary, I think, is probably going to be up here in the defensible position, because the granary is essentially going to reflect, to an extent, the taxes. Like that is the money in the stores of the city. So that is going to probably be in a very defensive position, I'm thinking. So it'll be up here in one of these like administrative areas, like just the general stores for the city for the most part. There might be like some smaller scale stuff in other places, but for the most part, I think I've already messed up my layers a little bit, but it's fine.
Always happens.
Fine. Yeah, I have some imperial or administrative center buildings on the wrong map, but no one will notice.
Not even slightly.
It's fine. Okay. Got that. No. Computer slowly getting slightly more sad. Let's see. Oh no. If it gets sad enough, you can always restart it, but come on. Let me see. There we go. See. Ooh. I still need 17 root CV and VC syllables was a bad life choice. Oh no. Oh no, I don't even know. I hope you're saving your work regularly. I am. It's always a struggle. You could always do like Vienna and divert a canal into your city. So I do have some canals in the city. That's these blue. These blue lines are my little canal-like rivers. They are definitely not to the extent in Vienna, but they are at least there. This is being less functional than I would like it to be.
Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Adobe really just wants to open up all the software right now.
Oh no.
It just opened Bridge. I don't even know what Bridge is.
Bridge?
Yeah, Adobe Bridge. Wait, it won't. Okay, it was
no idea what that means.
It was not going away for me.
Okay. Let's see here. Are we almost ready to erase some of these underlayers? I think we're almost ready. So, okay, wait. We finished our market center. We're going to have some smaller scale markets elsewhere, but we won't worry about those right now. So the next sections are kind of production centers. So they're small niche construction within the city. So, think about like export goods, fine wares, blacksmiths, that sort of stuff, not bulk stuff, right? That like everyone's going to have access to. That's all probably going to be done closer to use, right? So like within villages, within little communities, closer to where the population is. Most of the stuff being produced in the city is going to be for the higher ups in the city, the people in the city in general. So what we'll probably have all that sort of centered in the different class sections. That'll be fine. Because I don't have a specific area for that. And then infrastructure stuff. So I think we're close on this main path out, other than we could either go into some of the specific building areas or we could go into more of the food production. Yeah, exactly. Like tailors, jewelers, shoemakers, tanners, well, like high class versions of it, right? Specialty, small production, niche things, right? So you're not going to have your general furniture, but like you might have fancy furniture maker so and so who makes fancy tables for the king, that sort of thing. Would be in the city, whereas a lot of other stuff again would be done externally closer to the areas where the actual population is, which is less here. Most of the population is not in the cities. So I think what we'll do is I am going to mark in the favored complexes, and then we'll work on some of the food production stuff, and then we'll sort of fill in the regions that we would like to add in. So I'm going to go to see greater city buildings. We'll add some of these in, and I think we've kind of talked about how we are going to push out any of the more nobility that would live inside of the like imperial complex or administrative complex, I guess. The imperial complex is sort of like the super small one, but then the administrative complex, like right outside of that, is going to be where the wealthy, I suppose, would live. Probably focusing on let's see. they'll want to have quick access to the market. So they're probably going to be focused more on, I mean, they're probably just going to be in a ring around it to an extent. Like, I feel like that's probably what we're going to have. So let's pull up. Where's my little example map that I've been using for the vibes? Here we go. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So let's see. Have I seen world building notes? I don't know if I have.
It's good. Ava. I would recommend checking out. Now I have not stopped in a while, but her and I did a collab back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's
I'll have to look into that.
An extremely creative person.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll add that to my list. The city's big. It can maintain a quarter for goldsmiths, one for blacksmiths, one for tailors. Yeah. Yeah, like there could be it's not that huge, but I think it's huge enough that it could have that sort of a thing. And yeah, no gunpowder. Maybe like very basic amounts for non like ease of use. Like in theory, you could maybe build like a super big cannon, maybe on the edge of that technology, but no like guns or firearms. Okay, so let's see. Maybe fireworks. I could see maybe on the edge of being able to do like a fireworks kind of thing. Maybe something like that. Healing. Vibe. Candle makers. Yeah, there'd be candle makers. Ooh, Artifexian is such a world building treasure. Love the collabs and the exchange of ideas.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I know that's in reference to like our usual videos, but I'd like to think that they're referring to what we're doing right now, where I'm just quiet. That level of exchange of ideas.
Contributing so much in your silence. You mentioned the great themes of nature versus society and individual versus collective. Do you bring these themes into the city design somehow? So some of the ways that I have this coming in right now, which I need to build this out a little bit more, but I want there to be this difference between, like, my architecture styles are different between the time period when the city was more focused on the, like, we'll call it the nature side. It's a more simplistic term, but like that side of that duality, where you'll see that more in this radial section down here in the map, where there's going to be differences in the architecture, where it is less like leans a little bit more into like an Gothic Asian kind of fusion feeling, where there's a lot more like texture and decorative elements and presence of like plants, and just like it's more about that blending of bringing nature in and having everything be part of it, but also still, you know, all of this, you know, interesting architecture. Whereas a lot of the more modern stuff in the city is leaning a lot more into the societal aspects of it, where there's less like wild feeling of nature there, and it's all more controlled, and you see a lot more simplistic stuff, more minimalism, a lot more like clean lines versus like organic curving shapes and stuff like that. And the internal layouts of the way the buildings are from before and current are different. But I'm not really getting into that in this side of it. But once we get into the magic sections of the city, I'll pull that in a little bit more, like give it more of that sort of a feel. But it's kind of, I'm struggling a little bit with how to pull it in too much in this, because again, this is the capital city, and other than in like the small scale stuff, like I feel like it's been taken over so much by the societal side of it, and would have always been a little bit more taken over by the societal side of it. But I don't know. We'll have to get into it a little bit more and see if there's things to tweak as I get further with it. So inns, taverns, brewhouses, stables, barns. Yeah, those are all going to go in the different like sections of the city based off sort of like the income levels. Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, I'm probably not going to mention anything with gunpowder at all in any of my books. I just like, it's not really what I lean into. But I would say like they could maybe small scale do some small level of like gunpowder refinement. They have metallurgy, like they have like steel and stuff like that. They just haven't had a reason to push towards. They're also not a super militaristic society, so they have less impetus from that perspective. I haven't looked into toilet arrangements or sewage. I'm just kind of assuming that that's like any city map you look at doesn't necessarily have, for the most part, the like sewage stuff marked out. But I'm assuming there's going to be like an extensive sewage system. Like this is going to be a well-developed city. Some of the older parts might be a little bit less structured in terms of the sewage systems, but I'm kind of just assuming they're there, you know? Maybe more Elven and Art Nouveau versus contemporary and clean lines. Yeah, sort of like that. Maybe more like Victorian Gothic versus, I guess, more contemporary clean lines is a decent way to put it, for the most part. But yes. So it sounds like a fun city to walk around in. I hope so. I think it'd be cool. Always be the dream. But let's see. Where was I? What was I even doing? Oh yeah, we were starting to put in some of the like the rich peoples. So we have that here. This is mostly all going to be little buildings. Section there. And these complexes are a little oversimplified, but lots of buildings. And here. Yeah. All right. I'm just going to make like a bunch of these. Do you want to like show everyone what you're working on, Edgar?
Oh, you can switch me over. Again, just anticlimax time here. It always stuns me just how long it takes to do anything with this sort of thing. So this map may look identical to the one that you saw like 2 hours ago, but I have in fact been working on it the entire time. So I guess, I don't know, up here, this is what I'm doing. So I've started off again per Madeline, although I've had to tweak this a little bit because again, you're mapping the large Igneous provinces and I'm not. So I'm kind of a little bit, and rocks is not my thing. I said that. Did I say that to you off air, or did I say it on air? That I hate
on
rocks. On air, yeah. Okay, so I hate rocks, and I don't know a lot about rocks, so I'm very much winging it. But the basic shtick is, yeah, we got the large Igneous problems that marked in as basalt first, and then I'm going through and adding andesite and rhyolitic rocks, just carving it out. I'm trying to stick to what you're saying about things like near hotspots, maybe a little bit more rhyolitic rock. So that's what I'm kind of tracing. These hotspots, I have those added in. It's all very loose. Like essentially what my flow is usually when it comes to Madeline stuff, people want to hear behind the scenes, is I will complete a whole map first. just not knowing what I'm doing, just being like, okay, let me just follow the rule, to follow the guidelines, see where we go, and then realize only afterwards all the things I did wrong and go back and do it all again. So that's we're in the we'll just follow the rules and see where we get, and then we'll all be done again. I think, like, if I may, I think this little section here looks quite pretty. It's quite nice. I'm trying to make it look like these things here. So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm making it look like it, but Jesus, this thing down here, I don't like.
Oh,
this
wow.
at all. Yeah, I don't like this at all. I hate that. So that's going to need to something's going to need to go there, because I want to have one lip, like you're saying, that has like a large amount of andesitic rock.
Yeah.
I can't do this, especially at subduction zones and island arcs, because I don't have any that are like that or would have formed like that. So I just decided to do it there, but it looks just gross. I don't like it, and yeah, so that's basically it. Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
It does look pretty like
you over there, Rick.
evenly distributed.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
I don't know. I'm wondering if that's why it looks weird to you. Like if it looked less organic, because it like if you take any chunk of it, it looks like it kind of has a similar-ish percentage in each area. I don't know if that's...
Yeah, essentially I was just trying to raise as much of the black by painting over it. I just don't like the way I've done it. But again, like a lot of this, I'm assuming will get covered up, because like this is all pretty low-lying stuff. So we might be able to cover it up with something else. And we do have an old mountain range running along here, so I could see it being metamorphic covering up there. So eventually, as we add layers, it should hopefully, fingers crossed, look a little bit nicer. But yeah, that is what I've been doing, and is what I'll continue to do until the end of the stream. So when we come back at the very end of the stream, the map will look like this. Essentially.
Oh my gosh.
I might just for the visual, I might actually just skip down to the bottom of the tutorial and just put in oceanic sediment and the continental shelf, so it looks a little bit different. But yeah, that's basically it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Let's get back to real mapping. Poor rocks.
Poor rocks, don't let the Irishman hurt your feelings. You're a pretty rock.
Rocks are awful. I hate them so much. People get really jazzed about rocks. Like really
I
jazzed
love
about
rocks.
I know, right? And I'm just like, why would you care? Like I care in the sense of like they're needed to make mountains. Like in that way, I care about rocks. But the actual like I said, this is fine grain beige and this is coarsely grained beige, and I'm like, oh my god, it all just looks like kitchen countertops to me.
Oh my gosh.
Anyhow, so that's me. That's what I've been doing.
Okay. Where are we? Oh, let's see. Maybe. Yeah, so impressively detailed. Yeah.
Aww.
I mean, yeah, Edgar's maps are like intense.
Hearts.
Well, just pretend you see hearts everywhere.
Exactly. Wait. Oh no, here, come back to me. Switch back over to me.
Yeah, it's still on you.
Oh, it's still on me. Oh no, we never left. Okay, hold on. Oh wait, no. There we go. There we go. That's for you. That's for you.
There you go. All the heart. I told Madeline her rocks video went over my head. I was so lost. Still am. Yeah. Honestly, my rocks video went over my own head a little bit. I just got so excited, and my problem with my videos, and I'll switch off of Edgar, so it doesn't feel like we're staring at his redrawing the same thing 12 times. Like my problem is like, and I think I don't want to say this is due to having what's the word? Imposter syndrome. I don't think it's necessarily that. It's more just like I feel like it's really important if everything I say to do in my guide, I have the justification in there, because like I'm not an expert, and like there's so many cases where people will look at this and be like, oh, you use this mechanism here, but like actually if you incorporated this or made this change, or like I can expand on it by adding in these things, like people understand the process and why the process is the way it is, so that they can like tweak it apart and build on it, and it can be like a stepping stone towards like bringing the world building process of the community like a step further easier. But then that means when it's really complicated and there's not a lot of basis to build it on, you get a 3 hour like, yeah,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
I second the imposter syndrome stuff. Um,
Hmm.
Obviously, I can't live inside other people's heads, but from my perspective, I have crippling imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
Like every video, I'm like, why is anyone listening to me? I'm not an expert. Everything I do is terrible. Look at this map; it's garbage. All of my ideas are awful, and people watch my videos and look up to my stuff, and it's something like I'm not like without kind of using this as therapy. Sometimes it can get like real debilitating. Like I'm just kind of like, I don't want to work on my videos today because I'm scared of them because I just feel like such an imposter. But everyone, I studied classical music for anyone who doesn't know, and I remember we had a psychology class in college
Hmm.
to basically deal with like crippling performance anxiety that we all suffered from.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing these amazing musicians talk about how they're like I can't sing, I can't play, and like some of them have gone on to like one person in particular has gone on to like work in various opera houses around Europe, like big deal person, and they were just like, I'm a charlatan, I can't sing, I can't do anything, and I'm just like, we all suffer from it, you know.
Oh my gosh.
I think you have to be some sort of sociopath to just be like, I'm great.
Yeah, I'm great. I know what I'm doing. Like, no one could ever
Exactly.
have anything like wrong to say about it. Yeah,
Exactly.
oh my gosh. The world's best question. Why would you need to know where different types of rock are in such detail?
Well, for me, from what I've taken from Madeline's stuff, is prerequisite for ores.
Hmm.
And I'm really intrigued to go down this route because I also made I didn't make a rock video because like who would do that? But I made back in the day I made a ores and like gems video, and mine did not really reference rocks at all. It referenced kind of like land morphology and like these type of mountains you get this, etc., etc. So for me, I'm just really excited to go through this and see like have it confirmed to me basically that I'll just end up with a more natural feeling world.
Mm.
As to the detail, like for me, I don't need to do anything as much detail as I do, but I'm just kind of neurotic. I can't just not make it look like I don't know low poly or simplistic. I'm like I got to get in there, maximum zoom, all the detail all the time, you know. Um, so that would be my answer. What about you, Madeline? Why are we doing this? Why are you making me do this, Madeline?
I mean, that's definitely a lot of it, like getting into the ores and being able to trace that. But like the thing with like ore deposits, and this is the most complex part of the second video with the deposits, is being able to understand deposits from a technological
Yeah,
development level.
yeah,
Because like depending on which technological level a specific area is in, it'll impact what kind of deposits they have access to and like what the like economic viability of different deposits are going to be. So like in a certain area, you might have one region that is incredibly beneficial from like an ore perspective. Like maybe it's great for the copper age, but it's awful for the iron age. But this other area that was awful for the copper age is actually really great for the iron age because it has the types of deposits that can be accessed with those later technologies, and you can use that to figure out how societies would move and like what type of land they'd be trying to access, and like you can imagine so many things that just kind of seem to logically come from it, just from the deposit level. But like even thinking about the types of rock in a certain area, like that can impact soil types, which can impact agriculture. Different types of rocks will weather differently. So like obviously on a global map that's like harder to get that sort of level of detail, but a limestone landscape is going to be incredibly different
yeah.
than like something that has like a granitic base or something to it. Like, and there's just all these little details that you can use to help not make your world feel like a blob, and where everything is just so like homogenous and same, just here it's colder, same, and here it's warmer, same. And it just, I feel like it just adds so much texture, and I think it's really cool, and rocks are pretty.
Well, we shall agree to disagree on that one. But I will say who asked this question. I didn't catch the name.
Oh,
Hold
where
on.
did it even come from?
Uh,
Oh, we're up a high Luna
Luna
kilo.
Kilo. My mantra though is you absolutely don't need to do any of this always. Like I always feel like I am inadvertently painting an image that like not at least on my videos that if you want to do air quotes good like world building or geofiction, you must laboriously go through G plates or map out rocks or do all this. Nothing is oh, how am I going to phrase it? Nothing is certain. I don't know. You don't have to do anything. So just yeah, bear that in
Mhm.
mind. Because sometimes I think at least with my work, I feel like I might be alienating people by saying let's just make a map that takes like 400 hours to make. Let's go. You know. Um,
Yeah.
so take from it what you will,
Mm-hmm.
which is I think is
Um,
important.
and yeah, that pulls into the types of deposits. Like your follow-up question, I don't know if we already answered that, but rock. The rocks themselves and knowing where they are isn't an end goal for the most part. It's mostly just to tell you where different deposits will be and where different like landforms and stuff will be. But like you could also use it to determine like what is your castle going to be made out of? You know what I mean? Like that's rock. Castles are are rock, you know? So like
What
castles are
what
cool.
what shade of neutral tone will this building be in?
Well, like
Will it be beige? Will it be a light gray or a lighter gray?
but how hard is your rock? Because there's some rocks that are so light that they literally can use like brick presses and create these really cool super even bricks. The castle walls are just these like cool little pressed perfect little brick shapes. Like that's a very different vibe than like, you know, rough cut stone fitted together.
I no, I'm totally with you. I'm being facetious, obviously. I'm now I've taken the extreme position of my I hate rocks. It's like I despise rocks. It's not even like I don't. I like at the start I was like, I don't love rocks, and now I'm like, wait a minute, we can double down here. I hate it. Down with rocks. Pickets. I'm gonna be outside picketing against rocks. But no, you're
Mm-hmm.
totally right. You're totally right. There is interest in everything. You can get interesting things from everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can also like extrapolate patterns a lot too. Like a lot of this stuff like anyone that is doing it to the level of even spending 5 minutes looking at my rock guide is doing it because they want to understand the underlying functions and like they're doing it to learn and understand it. Like you can absolutely use simpler versions of figuring out where different ores are or just it's absolutely not necessary unless like it's what's that saying that's like the purpose is in the journey not the destination or something. Like there's a little bit of that in there too.
Mhm. Yeah, I'd agree.
Gonna scroll through. I feel like a lot of this happened while we were talking it and some of it we already mentioned. Da, 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 da. Yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of different like masonry and architectural styles depending on the type of like building materials. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay. I think we're mostly caught up now. People have had some more ideas and thoughts in the chat, which are all good. There are definitely like reasons to do it and also reasons not to do it. It's certainly something that as someone who writes for or world builds for writing projects where I have to do a lot of them, I can't spend years just building a world. It is something that I don't fully do for my whole maps for like my stuff. Like I'll do it in specific areas or like just for an island or just for this small place or just if it's going to be relevant. So like I don't do all of these steps for everything, but I want to understand the full process so I know how to do little condensed bits here and there where I need them to.
Yeah, it's all about goals. Like if yeah, if you were a writer and you're
Mm,
spending as much time as like myself or Nikolai or anything like that on these projects, that is a failure of goals basically. Because your goal is to make your book and
right.
then to make sure that you're not getting caught up in the weeds here. Was it Sanderson? Sanderson has a bunch, or at least had a bunch of like masterclasses on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
like writing masterclasses, and I think in one of them he talked about world building, and he was like, "Oh, at most you might spend a month, two, uh, like if you really want to go hard, spend two on the world." And then he talked about how he would, he drew a little world and talked about rivers and things like that. And the level of detail he went into was just like nowhere near what I do. But like, I'm not trying to write a book, So you gotta know your goals. No such thing as good or bad world building, just world building that has failed or passed its goals.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it also leaves a lot of flexibility for like if there's things that interest you, you can make it matter, Like at some point, I'm going to have a world that is literally just all glaciers, or like the setting is just all glaciers and I just get to do super crazy glacier stuff because I haven't gotten to do that in any of my worlds yet because all my settings aren't in major areas of glaciation,
oh
which is a problem.
Oh no.
Um,
oh no.
Thank you for popping in, though, Yago. Nice to.
Wait,
nice
oh crap. Okay, I'm gonna have to probably stop talking. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think we're caught up now. Okay. So. Yeah, exactly. Standards and advice, a lot of it is to pick 1 to 2 things, go really deep into those. And it can be difficult for world builders, but it does help do a little to try and focus. Love me a good frozen world. That's the main gimmick of one of my settings. They're genuinely so fun to work with. Yeah, and I really, really like glaciers and glaciation and glaciated landforms. Like, it's my favorite.
Did you hear all of my rambling there?
No.
No, okay, because I lost your volume and I was like, "Hello, can you hear me?" So you're back. It's cool. I fat fingered the mute button on my keyboard and that truly discombobulated me.
Oh no!
But we're back.
Where are my roads? Oh, they're there. Okay. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and fill in some of the smaller roads and some of these road-ish areas. Let's fill around here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of how many of these little like complexes I want to even have in here. I feel like I need a few more. Maybe some smaller ones just to have like a... Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'll pull a small set of those in a minute, but let's switch focus for a minute to food production. So I'm going to be looking at, and this is all coming from Brett's articles again, where he talks about the isolated state model. But within the city, so somewhat within the city walls, but a lot of outside the city walls too, like in the closest area, we're going to see a lot of the more intensive agriculture and intensive dairying or trough animals. So I need to have some like little like smaller like garden plot style things where they'd have like maybe little small orchards or little bits of terracing or like little bits of things like that, like close to very close to the city in like the first ring around, focusing more on ease of transport into the what's the word, into the like markets. So that's going to be the first layer, and then the layer after that is we're going to add some forests in. So let's go through and add. Let me think about where these would be. I don't think they'd be so much in the city. Maybe in a few places, like around the external parts of the city. Yeah. Yeah, and then they'll be like, yeah, then we'll have more layers further away, including like fun little fields and stuff. Garden plots outside the city along the roads. Brett from A Coop shows examples in his blog post. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that is exactly what I'm talking about. And this is mostly going to be outside the city. I'm going to add a couple inside the city just from what like might have been there beforehand. Or like, you know, not like beforehand because they're not necessarily going to stick around for like 400 years, but we'll add a few probably over here, just like right at the edges, and then we'll add them within the city, the main part of the city, but outside of the city walls will be where most of them are. So I'm going to add, let me pull up my little reference map here. Yeah, and we'll mostly like think of these as like little sections in this region. So like I might do this sort of vibe. Something like that. Yeah. Because this is, even though it's within the city walls, it's pretty far away from those main market regions. So it's kind of in the right category there. Mm. I think someone had mentioned at some point using the straight line tool. And I know there's a straight line tool, but then all my lines would be straight. And then if they're not straight, then it will bother me. And then if they're not perfect, it'll bother me. And I just need it all to not be just all be just a little bit wrong. So then it doesn't drive me crazy. Oh, your map is too low resolution to show anything more than the biggest fjords, 2000 by 1000. Yeah. Yeah, I would think that would get difficult at that resolution. Yeah, and I think a big thing to note when doing global maps like this is like you cannot use this as a reference for what a local region would look like. Like you're using this for like understanding like as you call like physiographic regions to an extent, like large scale climates, and then you have to look at, you know, what type of land masses and even what the coastlines would actually look like at a smaller scale. So like I feel like something like that is perfectly good for when you need to go to like regional or smaller scale maps.
Yep, I agree. I wish I could follow that advice, but I agree.
For the number geeks out there, from my research, the food yield is about 2 to 3 tons of food per hectare for this era that Madeline is drawing. I pronounced my own name wrong. Yes, I think that sounds right. I personally use 10,000 by 5,000. Yeah, I think
Hells
I'm
yeah.
somewhere.
10,000 by 5,000 crew.
Yeah.
Dang.
What am I even in? I'm not in the. I think I'm like 4,800 by 7,000 if this was actually square. So I'm a little bit smaller than that, but it's okay. This shouldn't be that detailed of a map. This is me trying to control myself. Mostly poorly, but it's fine. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, I've had that problem when I have too many layers. It just gets ginormous. I've started having to break up some of my like global world building projects, like as I'm getting into the cultural stuff where I have to just extract the main ones I care about for the other stuff and not pull all the layers over, or it just kills my computer. Okay. I think that's cute. And then I'm going to add a couple of those over here, and then we'll add some outside of the city. I know there's people out there that use like fancy stickers for this sort of thing, and I think that's awesome. But that's just so much effort. Even though it saves time, like, I don't know. There's something relaxing about this. I tried to find my Bob Ross shirt where we could just be like, look at all of our happy little city squares. Couldn't find it. Maybe tomorrow. Here we go. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do... Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay. Well, let me turn my fan on because it's getting really hot in here.
Oh no, it's just me and you, Chad. I have to carry the show. Oh dear.
A singing lesson? Oh wait, Edgar, do you know Schubert's? Oh no.
Erlkönig, yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not that. The Erlkönig I do know. I'm not that familiar with Vaughan Williams's work. Also, a classical guitarist here, so I'm going to work on the assumption a lot of the repertoire you know will be singing repertoire, and I've not. We didn't engage with the singers. We didn't like them. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, a lot of my knowledge is like Latin American based stuff because of the guitar. There
we go. One day I'm going to learn how to pronounce fancy characters and IPA. That's on my list. Like if I ever learn how to pronounce IPA, I feel like I will award myself a PhD in impressing myself, you know?
I'm telling you, it comes from osmosis. I've never once sat down and tried to learn the IPA. You just get it. So I wouldn't worry, but it's yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
Okay. I don't really learn well by osmosis.
Oh dear. And it's also, I mean, I don't know, I was about to say it's not that important, but I'm actually going to walk myself back from that position. It is quite important because it's the way you communicate things to other conlangers. So I would advise anyone, including Madeline, who is not using the IPA or not familiar with it, to familiarize themselves. Unfortunately, sorry guys. Needs must and all.
Yeah, I at some point when I get into doing conlanging beyond, like, it's also hard when I conlang for book projects where pronunciation is entirely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it hard for me to, like, I don't know. I need to do it anyway.
What am I doing here?
I had to learn it in undergrad. Oh my gosh. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense, but dang. Artifexian, have you considered going into detail with how to model a world with high obliquity?
No. It's one of those requests I've gotten over the years. I am a boring old man, and I like to keep my worlds Earth-like. Yeah, it's just what, like, I like the fact that I can look at Earth and be like, I wonder what Earth does. But when you have some crazy high obliquity world, we just don't really have much info on that, and I'm not willing at this stage to start a giant research project for that. Your best bet is Worldbuilding Pasta. Worldbuilding Pasta is that special, wonderful type of craze that will do all this. So I would seek out himself is what I would do.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you told Nikolai that you do not like rocks?
No, I'm scared because he's like he's an actual geologist. Like
I know.
I can't be like, hey, your field. No, don't like it.
Everything just looks like countertops. You should just message him that. It'd be great.
I really should. Uh, especially when I need help. Every time I
Uh-huh.
need help, or next time I need help, I'll open it with, "Hey, I think rocks are terrible and your career is useless. By the way, what would you do in this scenario?"
Oh my gosh. Let's see.
Nikolai's a great guy. I'm so
Hmm.
glad I randomly bumped into his blog. It's so good. Um, it's just so detailed. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think world building pasta is definitely your best bet. It looks like someone here has a recommendation for tough. I assume that's sci-fi Discord, science fiction, I would assume. For resources on that. Hopefully that's a good resource there.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So I added a few of those little regions inside of the city. I'll probably add some more at some point because I just feel like that looks like too little. But I want to add a few outside the city, and then I need to add my forests, which think think what I can probably do is add some more roads in first so that I know where to put them. Because that's gonna help. Let's go. That'll do. Ludicolo says they've looked at world building pasta stuff. Well, I guess whatever I end up making will be okay since very few people will be able to tell me that I am wrong.
I mean, there is always that. Yeah. If you set a world on the surface of a neutron star, not many people have done that before. It's new territory.
You've been called out, Edgar.
Oh no.
They're telling Nikolai the Discord server that you just dissed his career.
Thanks, Jay.
Next, he's gonna pop on and be like, "Hey, just throwing fists. Let's go."
Oh God bless him. And the thing is, I'd be right because rocks are crap. I'm joking. I'm joking. This is
Oh
how
my
my
god.
career ends. Everyone's gonna leave me now.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I feel like there definitely are not that many people who are that crazy into rocks. Given that the number of people that saw my rock video just cried. Like I'm pretty sure people actually cried and we're just like, no.
I don't know. I don't know. I get a lot of rock people. I really do. They're out there. Um,
Yeah. They either love it or they cry. It's one of the two. There's no middle ground.
what are we?
Um,
Oh yeah. Usef here, if I may. Sorry, just skip ahead with
this one?
comments here. Yeah, I've no problem. Like living on a rock is great. You see, the thing is, most of the time I don't have to interact with the rocks. Like most of the time, they're covered in really interesting things like biological organisms, which is
Hmm.
just wonderful. But strip away the biological organisms and just rocks. No, it's like I hate to say this because also I'm kind of like the space nerd guy. I kind of find a lot of space really boring because it's just rocks. Like I really enjoy learning about other planets and have enjoyed learning about like how the moon works, how Mars works. But it's always in the context of like, oh, what would it like to be like? What would it be like to be on a planet that has a year the length of Mars, for example? It's never like, God, those rocks are so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Nothing kills interest in rocks like earth caches.
Earth caches.
Earth caches.
Earth caches. Okay, hold on. Seeing as I am in the background, I'll Google that. Um, Earth caches.
Well,
Oh, is it something you bury? Geological Society of America.
oh, geocaching.
Okay, that doesn't help. What's geocaching?
Geocaching is where people hide things at like certain coordinates and you have to go. It's like scavenger hunting
Oh
based
yeah.
off like coordinates.
I. Why would that? Why does that? Nothing kills interest in rocks like earth caches. Well, hold on. Wait. So are people like hiding caches of rocks somewhere? Wait, what? What are they hiding? Are
Wait,
they
is that
putting
a thing?
earth within Earth? What? Hold on. I've been nerd sniped. Create an earth cache. Yes, please. 11 stunning earth caches. Okay, let's go. Click earth cache clickbait. I love it. Wait, what? What's I don't know what life is anymore. Like, like there's
They're cheering that they broke you, Edgar.
I, maybe this stems from the fact I don't know the details of geocaching. But like you said, it's like someone takes some items, puts it in some sort of container, puts that somewhere, and gives you the coordinates, and you got to go off and find it.
I think so.
Okay, but the items could be like, I don't know, like a coin or a little note. Yeah. So this thing here, earth caches do not contain physical containers like most geocaches. They do, however, carry a piece of geological history that can date back millions and millions of years, which is certainly a treasure of sorts. So that it really sounds like they're burying rocks in other rocks.
Or it's like locations where you can go find really interesting like rocks. Like, look, there's some really cool rocks here. They were created by some really cool stuff.
Oh, okay, that makes sense because the 11 locations, they just give you a code and then they just go this place in Turkey and it's just a picture of the place. And I'm like, wait, what's going on? One of the locations is just Lake Baikal. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Maybe it's really cool.
They make you answer questions about a location's geography.
Or better yet, Kretak caching.
Kretak caching. Lol.
That's a good one.
Anyhow.
Earth caches makes you answer questions about a location's geography. A lot of the ones near me are repetitive, badly researched, and sometimes wrong. That's lame. So, okay, so I guess it's like a site.
Oh.
That's lame.
Aaron's geography world. Why was Edgar having an existential crisis? Lol. Edgar is always having an existential crisis. And I say that only half jokingly.
Oh my gosh. Sounds more like DIY geology tour. No, I will say my very brief time as a geography major was the best college years of my life because the lounge, the student lounge was like joined with the teachers lounge. So they all just lounged together and they had a beer fridge and they would go on hikes and be like, we're going to go on this really cool hike and drink beer and just like walk around and be like, oh my gosh, look at that rock. It's so cool. Like that was literally like, that was all of it. It's so great.
I just don't understand it.
Oh my god.
Again, I want to remind everyone, I'm half joking. Like, if I actually really hated rocks, there's no way I put myself through mapping all this stuff. I just find it one of the lesser interesting parts of worldbuilding. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Oh, the hell are you? My computer's what is that called? A camera. My camera is whining. Oh, beer and faculty at school doesn't sound like a good combination. It is when you add in rocks. People are too busy with the rocks.
That's it. There's no fun to be had. It's just very serious rock time.
Which is fun. It's great.
Some might say.
Yeah. Yeah. At some point, if my my camera dies, it should last a little bit longer, and then I'll just switch out the what is it even called? I don't know. You'll just stop hearing me, and I'll just switch it to Edgar's thing, and you'll just see if he notices. as I switch out my camera real fast.
Oh yeah, because I'm not like most of the time I'm not looking down here. I'm not looking at chat, so it'll just be me silently mapping.
They're like,
gas.
that's good. No, I think it'll be good. It takes me like 2 seconds to switch the batteries out, and I think it's gonna last a little while longer. So I'm not gonna just preemptively do it. I'm just gonna like talk about doing it because I totally am not procrastinating at all. Definitely not. Let's see. That's fine. I think that looks weird enough. Okay. Okay. I think this is going to be like our main like external area for like the orchards and little tiny areas like that. Just because it's really central to the main trade routes into the city, so it makes sense as a place that they prioritize intensive agriculture, and also because it's near all this great water, so it'd be really great for irrigation. So I'm gonna do that. That's there's gonna be really, really vague, I think, about that, and just like add some like buildings around the edges, and then we'll just fill it in with like fields and stuff. And also make it look pretty with trees and growing things like flowers. I am not drawing flowers at this scale. I cannot do it, but I can make trees. Trees I can do. We'll have lots of lovely little trees, happy little trees. We may have to wait until tomorrow to add the trees when I have the shirt. I'm going to find it. It may have been sitting at the bottom of my laundry bin for like 3 weeks, but I will find it and I will wear it regardless of the consequences. Just one big flower. Well, I'll think about it. That's all I can promise. Oh gosh. I like knock this off my table. There we go.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, but the cat is screaming. Hold on. Yo, what do you want? Here, do you want to go say hi? You can say hi to everyone. Hold on. Where are you?
Pretty good.
Camera! Oh, look how cute you are. You're so cute.
The cat! I'll draw a walkway in the shape of a daisy. Wait a second. We're gonna like hide a flower. Everyone is very excited about the cat. Let's see. Do some of this. That should work pretty well.
Okay, sorry about that.
Everyone's really excited about the cat.
yeah, they are. It's he's not mine. He's my brother's. His name is Mr. Wednesday. If anyone gets the reference, when cartographers into catography.
Catography. Oh, that's good. Let's see. Okay. I feel like we can try to like do something weird. I'm now trying to figure out how to fit a flower somehow into this. Oh my gosh. Have you heard of the game Tiny Glade? Yes, I have looked at Tiny Glade. I have purchased Tiny Glade. My struggle with Tiny Glade is that the type of architectural styles are so limited that I really struggle with it, just because it's like if I see it in one style, then the way my brain works is I will really struggle to see it in the actual style it is in my head. So I've been like, I look at it and I'm like, oh, but I think I might have to wait to use it until I'm doing something that has more of that like cottagey European feel to it. Because there is nothing like, none of it has any like gothic vibes or like, more of your like simple like Asian style like Joseon or Korean style architecture or anything like that, or even like, I don't know, just none of the, just doesn't, it doesn't fit the aesthetic, even though it's beautiful and it's a wonderful aesthetic. It's just not the right aesthetic for this project, unfortunately. But I've been watching them and I'm hoping they come out with more versions of it. Let's see. Okay, what was I doing? I'm making tiny little farms. It's the part where it gets tedious for everyone. Yeah. So these aren't really every individual little building. To an extent, these are more of like a vibe of buildings, if that's a thing. Because the scale isn't exact, because I'm not drawing it at that detailed level, but I want to give the impression of the buildings and everything anyway. So we're kind of just making it work here. But I think it'll also let me like add in some little forests and stuff here and there, which will be good. Imitation buildings. Yes, that is exactly what we're doing. Let's do. Okay. And I think I'll try and do the thing where like I pick a bunch of different field colors and I sort of like make it look like a little bit of a patchwork, which I feel like always looks nice. Yeah, don't try to live in them made of cardboard. They might be slightly nicer than cardboard. I don't think they have invented cardboard yet, so, you know. See. Hey, what's going on here? Hello, Conlangery. Wow, I pronounced
George,
it weird.
hello.
Conlangery. Wow. I've been doing this too long, I can't pronounce normal words anymore.
Conlangery, yeah. George, how are you?
Didn't realize you two know of each other. Yeah. Yeah, we're like,
At this
I don't know.
point, my half of my career is built on Madeline's work. Let's be real.
So it's good. It's good. Ah, you missed our talk about IPA and everything.
the
BFFs.
George, congratulations on the relay. I was gone for most of it. I was away, but I was watching Langtime Studios there, and apparently it went very well. So, congrats.
Ooh, that's exciting. Gonna be making a world map for our friends' roleplay setting. Will be a game setting in the future, including topography and climate. Should we follow Artifexian's methods or Madeline's? I mean, it depends. It really depends on what you're trying to do. I mean, okay, I will agree. Probably not Artifexian's because like you do not need all of that for a role playing game. Like, but honestly, I don't even know if you need mine either. Like that might be a bit much. Like honestly, what you might need is old Artifexian. That might be the easiest. He's
Old
horrified.
Artifexian.
He's horrified.
Wow. Wow.
Like easy patterns. Like if it's a role playing setting, I feel like the
Oh
whole
yeah.
point of it is like the role play aspects of it and trying to like make it fit like crazy world stuff and there's like tons of magic. So like I feel like even mine would be a bit too detailed for that.
Yeah, actually, I would agree with that. Like, so when it comes to, like, if you're interested in knowing where climates are, for example, I would, following what Madeline said, I would just look at Earth, copy those patterns, much
Yep.
like what I did before. That's all the level of detail you need. Because again, goals, right? If the goal is to have a role play game, your primary focus should be enabling that game, not doing hyper anal world building, like
Right.
like you,
Right.
Artifexian.
Well, right, and like you'd be making it for someone else, so like they're not gonna care,
Yep.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, let's see, both at the same time. Just do both and compare and contrast. That'll never go wrong. Both of you should be in the next relay. Wait, is this like a conlanging relay? This is the one that's like, right?
It's so the Conlang Relay is like a game of telephone but with conlangs. That's a translation game. So someone starts off, has a small bit of text, and hands you what you need to know to be able to decipher it. You decipher it,
Oh,
and you
that's
put it into
cool.
your language, pass it on, and then the whole idea is at the end of the game, it's like, the original text said, like, like telephone, like the mouse is sad, and it's like the astronaut went to Jupiter is what you get out the other end.
That's
Um,
actually really cool.
it's really cool. George, I'm not a good enough conlanger. I don't have anything that is good enough or well fleshed out enough to do. Yeah, like I don't even call myself a conlanger really. I do some conlang, but God, I'm crap at it.
And I'm
I wish
probably 3 times worse.
I
10
wish
times worse?
well, I don't know. Actually, I haven't seen many of your conlang streams, so I don't know. But I just wish I was better at it, because I love it so much. Like, I love just being like, my dudes are going to speak this. They're going to speak, and I love like the immersion in the word. But I just get bogged down on logic problems and just not grasping it. Because he should be working.
Yeah, fair. Uh,
Bye, George.
Hopefully you have enough confidence for everyone, because I can't even read IPA, which we mentioned earlier. Seems like it would probably help. Yeah. Thanks for popping in. Hello and goodbye.
Hello and goodbye.
Oh, they built their world on old Artifexian.
I mean, old Artifexian definitely had its uses, but
Mhm.
as things go forward, I can't just for the whole of my career remake the same climate video. Like, your methods increase in complexity and you learn new things over the years.
Mhm.
So I'm glad it's out there, but yeah, sometimes I'm forced to watch old Artifexian and I'm like, just like I just can't listen to myself. It's crazy.
Fair.
That's normal.
Yeah. They already have a bunch of stuff mapped out, so mapping lore, not the map. They just want a map for the settings, since yeah, I mean, honestly, I would go simple, go with
Yeah.
patterns, stick with patterns. You don't, with a role playing setting, you're not looking for the world to do weird things. You're looking for the story to do weird things. And like, if you need to change the world to match the story, like I would go more in that direction.
Yeah.
Hardcore patterns.
Yeah.
Maybe throw some weird stuff in for fun.
I fully endorse that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Plus, then it won't take you the next 12 years.
yeah, yeah, and you'll have a life.
Mm-hmm. They're paying you like your full-time salary for like the next 10 years, in which case, like,
Have at
come
it.
up with a whole system better than like even deeper than
Right.
Edgar's, and just
Or put Worldbuilding past to shame.
yes,
That's what
that's what you need to do. That would be something.
it truly would.
Good. Let's see. Okay. I'm I'm getting really tired of making all of these tiny little buildings. I might move on to something else for a little bit because they're killing me. Maybe we'll make some cute fields to remind ourselves how nice this is going to look. And then we can do something else. And then I'll tell myself that it'll incentivize me to go back to it. I might see if I can get him to join Madeline's server so we can discuss things with some of them. Worldbuilding present to add onto things. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Then he can just chat and like people can help him out, you know? It's always good. Let's see. Okay. So we want just like field colors, just generic field nonsense. Let's see. See, what do they even look like? Okay. I really do find example maps incredibly helpful. Okay. Oh, gotta move some wood into the backyard. All right, have fun with that. Thank you for joining. Don't get splinters. I always get splinters when I... Yeah, okay. It's fine. Good luck. Okay, let's see. Oh no, why did that paint over that color? I messed up a layer somewhere. What layer is this on? Draft roads. Okay, it's fine. Madeline, don't be bored, just think. Artifexian is drawing rocks.
There's always someone in the world who's in a worse situation than you are. And that person is me.
Although I will say, the number of times I had to do those maps to figure out that process, I did it like 8 times.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
It took me like 9 months. It was crazy.
A long time.
Edgar, do you have Discord?
I do, yes. Madeline, would you be able to perhaps drop a link to that?
Oh yeah, I can do that.
If I pass it to you, because no, actually, hold on. I'll just put it in chat.
Oh yeah, that'll probably work best.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I have to go to the actual stream because I don't have the YouTube hooked up, so this will take a second. Boom. What am I looking for? Okay, so oh, actually, I don't think I'll be able to post a link. Will I?
I can definitely post one if you send it to me.
Okay, no, it didn't link.
Oh, yeah, they might have to...
Okay, well,
a reminder to save your work.
I'll DM you on Discord.
Save. Okay, and then I'll post it in. Yeah,
there you go.
Thank you for the reminder to save.
So just a quick little heads up: there's a public Discord and there's a private Discord. Private Discord is for patrons, so that is a link to obviously the private, the public section of it. Just a little heads up. Thank you for allowing me to plug my stuff, Madeline.
Yes. Oh no, definitely. Copy link. There we go. Paste link. There you go. There's the link.
Thank you. There we go. I will say I'm not I'm nowhere near the most active person in the world. I'm for someone who makes their living on the internet, I'm a very offline person. Tend not to be online so much. So yeah, don't expect banter and hangouts from myself the whole time. But the folks there are cool. They're really cool. Great people over there. So strongly recommend checking out.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And they're just so like helpful. Like I've posted in there because there's not as many, there's more conlangers on mine now than there were before, but like there's kind of a few, whereas like there's a lot more in your Discords, especially your Patreon one with the conlanging stuff. And I've ran into a few problems where I'm just like, hey, will someone explain this to me? And they're so helpful and great. It's very nice. Like,
It's great. Yeah.
the
They're
world
really,
building community, like, it's pretty good.
yeah. Yeah. It's very, very good. Like I really haven't, like, again, I've been doing this for 10 years, over 10 years now, and I've not really had any bad run-ins with people at all. You know, like people will sometimes have little disagreements or whatever, but nothing serious. The folks have just been just really lovely.
Everyone's too busy being a major nerd, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is always good. Ugh. All of these tiny little things. This is not the fun part. I feel like this will be a good thing to, I might come back to this in a minute when Ross is on the stream, where he can just be talking to us all about how awful my city defenses are. And then I can build little plots while I'm like, yes, I have to start over. And I'll just keep doing this while we all listen to him. It's going to be great. We'll do a few more, and then we're going to switch focus, I think. And maybe add some forests and stuff in. I think that'll be good. Yeah, because a lot of this is very, like, just the same thing over and over. So let's save that, and let's switch focus to... Okay, let's go back to the isolated state model. We have done the super intensive section and the dairying. So small plots, which is, you know, all these little bits that are going to be in and around there. Actually, let me fill these in. Oh, no. No, I'm on the roads level again. Wait. No. Oh, no. Everything is awful. What have I done? Okay, hold on. What is this? Okay, that's the road level 2. Okay. This is an unfortunate situation. See. Oh no, more rocks. Oh, they've made a call for more rocks. Think you're up, Edgar. They want rocks.
Oh dear. What am I even doing? Hold on, give me a second. Okay, so it's just, I mean, like, I'm sorry, it's the same thing. I love the way you're like, oh, I'll move on to a different thing. And I'm like, I can't. This is step 1. I have to clear step 1. Yeah, I mean, I think I have moderately improved this crap by adding in some of the analytic stuff. Can I just ask a quick question? Like, how would you so, you know, okay, so let's go from first principles here, right? So we have that's a bad example. That's another bad example. Hold on, let me find a good example. Here's a good example. Okay, so apologies for both the colors, they're a bit hard to read, but the black there is basically just the shape of the large Igneous province, and it means basalt, right? Per your guide, right? And then in that, I'm just adding splotches kind of randomly of andesitic and rhyolitic stuff, right? So that's the other 2 colors, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, because I don't know how this actually works, I'm kind of just like going along with the topography that's already there. So I'm like, oh, this is terrible. It's hard to see. There's like, oh, like there's this like mountain thing here. So I'm like, oh, maybe you're just predominantly andesitic with a smattering of rhyolitic around it. Like, would you recommend doing that? Like,
I mean, I feel like to an extent, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. I mean, when I would look at the maps, like, because a lot of the difference is going to come from like exactly where that came from. And it's just, I mean, you modeled it out a lot further back than I did. Like, you could maybe try and make more educated guesses based off of that, but like,
But so if we go on that real quick, just to be interested to get your opinion. So let's do the history, right? Because like that chap. Okay, so this thing that's happening here,
mm,
like the literal bit I've got highlighted there is this. Okay,
right.
right. So this whole island here is this upper half. Okay, so a mid-ocean ridge happens basically. Which direction? Yeah, there we got the open. Sorry, so it's being really weird. Okay, hold on. Wait, come on. We got the opening of a mid-ocean ridge. So we have a big, large igneous province. That splits it open. We got a mid-ocean ridge, and then that basically just moves into position, right?
Mm,
So I'm like, okay, so it's associated with a mid-ocean ridge, and so I'm like, I'm over here, and I'm like, it's primarily basaltic, and I'm like, okay, cool. I've made it primarily basaltic, but then it's like, it's not going to be just one slab of basalt, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what the evolution of that implies for the different types of igneous rocks there, or whether or not it's even worth asking that question. It's just a vibes thing of chucking down these things. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but if you have something, throw it my way.
it's okay. I mean, I think there's definitely a part of it that's the vibes, but the igneous rock is really interesting because a lot of it has to do with where that magma is coming from. So
Hmm.
if I pull up real quick, oh no, that's my like edit my website page. Hold on. I think I have a graphic in there for, let me see if I can refresh myself. Where is it? Higher up. It's did I end up taking this part out of this? There's a lot of stuff I took out of here that may be surprising given how long it is.
Would
Um,
you switch over to your screen if you're not showing anything sensitive? Because
um,
I'm assuming you're on your webpage, and I'm trying to follow what you're saying to try and find what you're looking at.
oh, I haven't found it yet. If I find it yet,
Ah,
I'll switch over to
okay,
it.
cool.
But like it's there are patterns to it, and like you can trace it to like where the magma would have came from to determine, but like it also has to do with like, okay, what was that land or that rock beforehand before it got heated up? What was the properties of it? Like how much silica was in it beforehand? Like you kind of have to trace like what was that before it was heated up, and what is the contents that was in it when that happened, right? Like what is the magma coming from it? And so
Yeah,
like there are different types of
but that's something that's fundamentally unknowable given the system,
yeah.
because it's like, um, I mean, I guess sediment, like some sort of sedimentary rock. I guess I see. I would
Yeah,
not be able to what you call with any degree of confidence be able to make a call about that.
yeah, then
But
I don't know if you could do it then. I was wondering if people who had more history would be able to be more like intentional about it, I guess, cuz like if you look at like different types of sedimentary rock, they have different types of like your carbonates are going to your chemical rocks are going to be very different than like your clastic rocks in terms
mhm,
of like the silica content and stuff like that. And you could sort of trace it back, but like honestly, I think maybe you just have to go for vibes, but it
right,
would be based off where like if you have one section that definitely hasn't undergone a bunch of different geological processes in the past, I would expect it to be more same than like that what do you call it? It's not like a delta, but it's like that like interesting basin that you have there. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like that would be more likely to have something a little bit more unique in it because it looks like it's been pressed and shaped kind of. So I
Right.
feel like following that pattern, like doing a combination of like some randomness, some patterns, and lots of vibes is probably going to be all you can do then. Um,
Do you
oh,
know,
and then
having
we have some input that it is not even fully known. Like conferences from this year discuss how the oldest cratons formed in the pre-tectonic era. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So like, you know, it could be
So
wrong. Whatever science we have now could even be wrong.
based on what you said, this might not seem like it's what I'm going to say is based on what you said, but as you talked, I thought of this. I might I be okay? So hold on. So deacon traps, right?
Yeah.
We've a look at the deacon traps. So, oh god, I hope I remember how these looked, and I'm not just gonna be like, "Whoops, no, sorry." Um, no, that's not helpful. I misremembered how the deacon traps looked. My bad. Never mind. I was going to say maybe all this highland stuff should be basaltic, and I erode away into the slab of basalt with the other two igneous rock types outside the highlands.
Mm.
And that's why I was kind of going with the deacon traps. I was wondered if this slab of basalt follows the sort of ridginess that's there, but I don't think it does. Do I have a topographic map opened? I don't.
Yeah.
But I love to hear the vibes thing. Like the vibes
Yeah.
thing
Vibes are good.
is always good because oh, Bangladesh, but not India. Wait, are you? Yeah, but India's just there. Like, haha! I can go to India. You can't tell me what to do, computer. Yeah. So you see the way you have like this ridge line along the deacon traps here. I
Yeah.
was wondering if there was a correlation, and there isn't really, I guess, between where the basalt lies and the sort of like dominant
Yeah, it doesn't really
formation.
look like it.
No, because you have a big slab of basalt here in the low-lying thing, which
Mm.
is not there. Vibes.
Yeah.
Love it.
Vibes.
Love it. Love it.
And
Also,
someone commented, they wonder what would happen if we put these questions to a geology class. And I will say, like, we might be able to get some information from someone, but I had all of this was gone over by Nikolai of Worldbuilding Pasta, who is like, he has a PhD in geology. Like, he is our resident geologist, and he gave me a lot of feedback. He gave me a lot of resources on a lot of this stuff, and he didn't really have anything extra for me to put in there in terms of like the history processes. So I don't know. I mean, maybe he could add more detail if he was feeling super like, I don't know. But I think it's probably like vibes is probably sufficient. If he wasn't like, hey, it's this or that, whatever.
Yeah. I will say, thinking about it some more, I think this land would have had a ice sheet on it, at least in part. So this will get scratched. This is me calling back to something that happened like 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
The other thing on that comment, though, what about if we ask it in geology class? I find I've spoken to experts in the field on numerous occasions throughout my career. The one that springs to mind was a glaciologist, if that's the correct term. I can't remember. But a person who studies glaciers. I think it was through someone on Discord, were like, I know someone from university, and they talked to me, and they were some PhD or whatever. And I remember how hard it was to get them to try and discuss like glaciers and glaciation in a world building context, because they have their science hat on where they're like, I can't make any declarative statements. We don't have the facts. And I'm like, I know, but would it be in any way plausible? It was like, we don't speculate in science. And I'm like, I know you don't, but like, you need to go at me. And it's so difficult. So oftentimes putting these questions to literal experts doesn't work very well, because even just like sometimes I've gotten, why would you even do that? Like, for world building purposes, they can't fathom. Like linguists might be like, why would you make a language? Like, would you do this? So putting it to the class may or may not be fruitful, and the professor might be like, no, why? Just like let's get moving, But yeah, anyway, so that's what I've been doing. It's my life.
Very fun. Yeah, and I will add to that one of the most beneficial things I think is finding the experts that are also world builders that have already made that leap.
Yes, this is why Nikolai is so kind of important. And Biblaridian, like who studied zoology. Yeah,
it's very helpful when the people that know what they're talking about decide they want to do the same things that we do, and we can just be like, tell us how to do.
Yeah. And also, yeah, like I said, be able to speculate slightly, as opposed to no citation required.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm going to, in my notes, move on to arboriculture. Arboriculture? arboriculture, which is going to be the growing of trees and stuff for firewood production and heating and stuff like that. But I'm also going to add some like natural forests too. So I think some of the places it would make the most sense to put these is I think what they call like marginal lands. Marginal lands being those that essentially aren't your most productive lands. So like the places with the best soil that are the most easily irrigated, that are by, water sources, like, things with great soil, places that are great for actually using your main types of like agriculture and types of things on. Everything else would be marginal lands to an extent. Perhaps tempt them with publication in a fictional scientific magazine. I think they'd be afraid of like their coworkers laughing at them, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because think about it, like we from the inside, or from the outside, from the inside, we look like kind of lunatics, being all like, so talking about glaciation on high obliquity worlds, and they're just like, who even asks that question? Like we're too busy trying to like deal with the fact that our glaciers are receding to worry about these sort of questions. So we seem like stark raving lunatics.
Yeah, pretty much. Let me check. What? Oh, okay. I know what's happening now. Okay. So I'm trying to decide. So it's 4:46. I think we can go a little bit longer before I have to. And let me message Ross. I don't think he's still on the stream anymore, and ask him when he wants to start setting up the next one.
Oh, whenever you want me to go, you just give me a shout, yeah?
I'll let you know. Yeah, I'm gonna message him and see when he wants to pop on, because like I'm just gonna like end the stream and then open up the other one.
I am in the stream, he says.
Oh, hi Ross. I just messaged you on Discord. Yeah. I mean, either way, we have to hop onto the other one because I have them scheduled every like 3 hours. I mean, everyone can just hop into the next one. That's fine too.
Well, everyone bar me. I have to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like a good boy.
Okay, yeah. Let's give it 3 more minutes until 4:50. And then we'll hop off, and then I will, get whatever stuff I need to get prepped ready, and then I'll be back at 5 with Ross.
Oh, could I perhaps steal those three more minutes to maybe ask you a question?
Yeah.
Now that I have you here, would you pop back to my screen? Sorry, folks. Shallower subduction mountain ranges. Your wording or Nikolai's wording there. And I asked this because I'm hearing that, and I don't know if actually no. Let me finish the actual question. I'm hearing Laramide style orogeny there, like so shallow subduction, like what occurred in North America, that drove up the Rockies, as opposed to the Andes. Am I correct in thinking that?
Yeah. Yeah, because it impacts your ratio between pressure and temperature. Sure. It's like how hot it will be at different depths, and then you get different types of rocks there and stuff.
Great, good. I was wondering about that. All right, cool. Yeah. There we go. You need to swap back to your screen.
Oh yeah. Everyone is saying goodbye. Thank you for your time, Edgar.
I haven't left yet. What's this about?
Well, there's a delay. I feel like people tend to try to get those in quickly because there's such a delay between when we get the messages and like if we were like, okay, goodbye everyone, and then hit end screen, like 5 minutes later we get everyone's chats.
Well, then in that case as well, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's been great. This
has been really fun. This is way more chill than I thought it was. I was a little bit like beforehand. I was a bit nervous, being like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't do other people's streams." But this is great, and the chat was really nice. It was lovely, lovely. Oh no, Alien Overlord's here. I gotta go. Bye. It's a running gag from my streams that every time Alien Overlord shows up, I'm like, gone.
I mean, he did show up right at the end there. Oh my gosh. Good night. Thank you for the stream. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how you like do things not chill on a stream cuz like I'm just too awkward to do things like I don't know, I just can't. I can't.
Everyone run.
Okay. Well, since everyone's already saying goodbye anyway, this is probably a good place to oh, you can't run forever, Edgar.
Try me.
You can run a little bit longer. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, yeah. Thank you, everybody. If you're sticking around for the next one, it's going to be in like 11 minutes. In the next stream, it's all going to be linked. And yeah, thank you, Edgar. This was a lot of fun. It was a good way to break up the, everyone just having to stare at me like, ramble about the random things I'm drawing. But it was good.
Just stare at like the beacon of Gondor over here. The bright white light that is my face. No, like I said, thank you for having me. Great crack.
Yeah, good.
And enjoy the rest of the streams, everyone. Like I said, I'm off to bed.
Mm-hmm. You have to say the thing.
Until next time.
There we go. Now I can end the stream. Bye, everybody.